as we celebrate the 6-month anniversary of the release of the Pixel 6, I figured it'd be good to go back, put my SIM in it for a week, see what we had going on after all the updates, all the rest of it, just use it, hold my nose, and go ahead and review it like it's a brand new device out of the box, first coming in, and see what we can actually do, and see what actually bothers me, and what has pretty much been sorted. And as you can see, all right, disapproving Porg is looking away because he's mad at me, and all the smiley Pushins and Squishables are out because, with the exception of a couple things, which I'm going to mention, I'm actually fairly pleased with the performance of the Pixel 6 at this point. Like we've said with multiple manufacturers here recently, it seems like it's becoming a trend. Does that mean they get a pass for the first few months that were a nightmare, and the first month in particular where I couldn't even keep my SIM in it? No, of course not. They're going to have to do a heck of a lot better with the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 6a and all the other devices that they want to have coming down the line if they want us to trust them with their money. But with the exception of a couple of the updates being late, now they've had the April one on time. Most of the stuff with the Wi-Fi has been resolved, even though some other things cropping up here and there, but you could see it kind of winding down, right? You could see it kind of getting into a realm of, yeah, there's going to be, it's getting down closer to the point where it's, yeah, there's slightly more issues than with other devices, but we're getting closer and closer each passing month with being in line with the regular fault amount for different devices. When you factor it in, and when you put your SIM in it, you try to review it new, the one thing that I keep coming back to, which is one thing that I kept coming back to in my initial review of the device, is $599. And if you could get it a little cheaper, if you have a trade-in or whatever it happens to be, $599 on the Android side, giving you a nice OLED panel, 90 hertz refresh rate, 8 gigs of RAM, all the other stuff that comes with this, a nice premium build, the Pixel experience, the extras, added support. Yes, support. They've been working at stuff, and they're going to be working at it for years to come. You add that camera in, and there's not a heck of a lot on the Android side that can compete at that price point. And for all the faults that this device had, and plenty of them, and still for a lot of people who are struggling with a few different things, that's something that we absolutely have to be fair and have to come back to. That at the end of the day, they're offering you all of this for $599. And I wouldn't be, if you have a Pro and you don't need that telephoto lens and you don't need the 120 hertz, you don't need the extra RAM and all the rest of it, the curved display, I think that one, I'd still have a problem. I'd still have a problem if I got this performance on that device that I paid $899 plus tax and all the rest of it for. But at $599, that is absolutely the sweet spot. So let's talk about the fingerprint sensors. I want to get it out of the way. All right. Still bad. Still bad. I've done the things with the animations, which make it a little less awful. The thing to me is that when you see people do those tests online, what they basically do is they had it open, and they do it multiple times in a row. And it works, sort of. Not working for me, but they were able to do it multiple times in a row and hold it a little longer. And let's hold it a little longer the first time. There we go. Okay, so hold it a little bit longer. The problem that I had with the fingerprint sensor is not that type stuff. When the screen's on, it works every time. It's when it's at the always on display, or you put it down and it goes into the dimmer always on display. The fingerprint hiccup for me seems to be that transition between the always on display, the dimmer always on display, and then the full on display with it you can then hit like it's ready to go. So if the phone is in the full on where you're seeing the background ready to go, the fingerprint sensor is near flawless. When it's at the always on display screen, or if you put it down and it kind of dims it a little bit and it's caught in between, that's where it has its more and more problems. Other than that though, everything else has been snappy, it's been smooth, it's been an absolute joy to use. I can't get over the flat. It's not the best panel in the world. It's not a Samsung panel. It might actually be a Samsung panel, but it's not a Samsung quality panel. It's a little dim. The colors get a little muted, but the 90 hertz refresh rate works well. I haven't noticed any FPS drops. I know that's been a lot of problems with adaptive refresh rate devices in the past year or so, getting those drops back and forth and noticing the stuttering. Haven't noticed that at all. Loving the flat nature of the display. Geez, how we've had a few devices now that have done this. Okay, the OnePlus 9 last year, the Pixel 6 with a flat device, some of the Samsung mid-tier offerings, and they see how much we love it. The Samsung S22, the regular one. Give us more of that. The squared off design of it, okay, a little bit on people are complaining about the bezels. I don't really notice that. Nice design. If you got the design on the back, you get the camera with it. You got the wireless charge. You got the glass build, the premium build. I love this kind of finish on the side, the matte black finish. And just, it's a great size in the hand for the Pixel 6, the regular one. Great weight distribution. Every app that you're going to want to run runs well. The game's the same way. Tensor, does it get you Snapdragon Gen 8 Mark whatever? No. But they're not charging that. And they're not chewing that kind of battery. This gets the best battery life of any Android device I've seen on Android 12 in the flagship-esque department. All right, there are some of the Moto devices and all the rest of it that can get 7-8 hours, but that's not even on Android 12, and that's not giving you this power. That's coming in with a Dimensity chip or a Snapdragon 695 or a Snapdragon 480 in terms of the G Stylus 5G. So at this price point, at this build, at this performance level, which I still wish more companies would adopt. I really do. This is good enough performance. It's excellent performance. It's more than what we'll use probably in the lifetime you keep the phone. Programs aren't going to use all this power in the next year or 2 or 3. And if you're getting rid of it in that time, take the battery savings, take the lower costs to own the device, take the lower problems with the heat. Since the updates in March and April, I haven't had an overheating issue. I had an overheating issue October, November, January, December in there. We'll just switch the months, doesn't matter. And we've got, it was hot to the touch doing random things. I really haven't had the overheating since then. It's just the fingerprint sensor. If you can get past the fingerprint sensor, or if they follow through with adding an implementation of a face unlock, you got yourself a really nice little device. And we just had the video yesterday talking about the Pixel 6a. And if that comes in at $499 with a Tensor, that might not be enough. You might be better off saving the extra $100 or coming up with a trade and going for a Pixel 6, because I do think, and I said this as much as we like to rag on Google and have a good time, and rightfully so, they do some really dumb things. But I said it at the time, and I'll say it again. If you spend $599 on this device, I never think there will be a moment, especially now that it's updated, supported, getting the updates and the new features every month. I never think there'll be a moment going forward from here until the end of the life cycle of the device when you get rid of it, that you're going to look back and really question and say, oh, geez, I shouldn't have done that. I never think you'll get to the point where you're really questioning your $600 purchase, especially when you look at a lot of the phones in the space. And that includes the Samsung S21 FE. Because I love the Samsung devices, and I love the direction that they've gone with One UI 4 and 4.1 now. And I love the job that they do on their panels and their builds and all the rest of it. But, this is not a slouch. And a lot of times you're looking at equal price. This has intangibles with the Pixel features that phone doesn't. And when you're talking about a mid-range price point for near flagship performance with the Pixel extras, which do have a value, I think this comes out ahead over a similarly priced Samsung that's not the flagship, that's not the Gen 8 Mark 1. Whether it's the Now Playing, whether it's the transcriptions, whether it's the calling features, all that stuff that they add in has a dollar amount, has a value that you get at $599 that you don't get on a lot of the Samsung offerings. So, well, I don't know. Check your temperature outside, whatever you have to do. Maybe it's a full moon. We actually had a fairly positive Pixel video. And I said that. I said that at the time. There will become a point where it becomes silly season. There will become a point when the phone is just fine, when there is value, because there is a heck of a lot of value here, and that the support will catch up with the problems of the device. And I do think we're really at that point. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Don't forget, channel sponsor, Long Island Watch. Mark's got some really cool stuff going on. Check out the website in the link in the description below. Until next time, Have that Steve-licious day.